Hi again. Welcome back to the Nightmare X Show, a variety channel where I do a lot of stuff. Mostly comics. Mostly comics, but there's other stuff. I've done app reviews, I've done... What else have I done? Anyways, I noticed in the last video that the music that I get for my videos, you couldn't hear it at all, so, let me know in the comments if you've ever noticed the music, and if you particularly like it. It's always the same video. I always play the same video, and that music is just in the background. So, tell me if you like that music, and I'm gonna get it anyways, regardless. So, I made a mistake. And, it has screwed my fanfiction even worse than it was already screwed. I, didn't research something that I thought I knew the answer to, and it turns out I didn't. I didn't look up and see who was Venom in Marvel Ultimate Alliance Part 2. See, I thought it was Eddie. I just assumed it was Eddie, and I didn't research and find out myself. I regret that now, because I found out it was actually Scorpion. I mean, I knew Mac Gargan got the symbiote for a time, but, I didn't think that the Ultimate Alliance Venom would be Mac Gargan, but it was. And now I've basically screwed up my entire fanfiction. But this is good, because I kind of needed to start over. For a lot of reasons. New villain idea, new antagonist, big bad evil guy, a new behind the scenes nemesis that'll probably never be shown as an actual thing, partnerships, and who knows who the story is actually focusing on. I was trying to make it focus on Venom for a little while, and then switch over to focusing on Spider-Man, and now I don't even know how I'm gonna do that. But I guess in a way, Venom is Spider-Man, because what happened in the comics was, after Scorpion was relieved of the Scorpion suit, he was able to finally have it removed through the help of Norman Osborn. What happened was, Norman Osborn brought back Hammer, and under Hammer he created a new Thunderbolts, and Venom was part of it, going by Spider-Man. I don't know where Spider-Man was at the time, but that was a thing, and the stories are awesome, it looks like, because this Venom, this Mac Gargan Venom, was a lot more violent, and a lot more reckless and immature and girl crazy. I mean, there's one story where he literally stops a bank robber, webs him up, gets him stopped, steals the stolen money for himself, and then decides, I'm hungry. He rips off the arm of the bank robber and eats it. And then spends the stolen money on a hooker. And then kills the hooker and plants the body in the house or apartment or whatever of J. Jonah Jameson, trying to get back at him for turning him into the Scorpion all that time ago. That's just one story. So, I mean, it's basically what he is through his whole run as Venom. That's what you can expect. That's something you can expect of him. Like, it's totally plausible that he would do that. You can just read that from him when you check out these other stories that he's done as Venom. And I really like Matt Gargan as Venom because he's so much crazier, and he's not serious. You think of Venom, you think of Eddie Brock, and you think of how serious he is in the comics. And then there's Flash Thompson, and he's also a really serious character. And Matt Gargan is not serious. He's not a serious Venom. And that's funny. It's funny, and it gives me a confused feeling. Like, I don't know how to feel, but yeah, basically I screwed up my fanfiction. And what does this mean? I'm sorry if that damaged anyone's hearing. What does this mean for my fanfiction? So in the second Ultimate Alliance game, the Fold, which was very different from the Fold in the comics, the Fold is some sort of artificial intelligence gone crazy that is mind-controlling everyone. The entire planet is, like 90% of the population is under the control of this nanotechnology that is controlling them to do certain things. And some of the people under the control of the Fold are Green Goblin and Venom. And we fight them in the game like 2 or 3 times towards the end of the game. So, what does that mean for us? It means that right after Venom, or Matt Gargan, was relieved of the Scorpion costume, he was given the symbiote by Norman Osborn, and then the Fold attached itself to both of them. So they're both doing the bidding of the Fold until the end of the game, where they're free of the Fold's control and they're helping S.H.I.E.L.D. So after the second game, I don't know what happened to them. They're probably in good standing with S.H.I.E.L.D. But we could try to figure out what's the most likely thing that happened to them. I know the Tinkerer also helped S.H.I.E.L.D. at the end of the game, and actually at the beginning, like after our team was declared dead, but we weren't really dead. We ended up going underground and seeing the bigger picture of the Fold, and not being distracted from the Fold by Civil War any longer. So the second game was kind of a mess because Civil War and the Fold was happening at the same time. But anyways, eventually, actually pretty close to the beginning of the game, we are declared dead when an accident happens, and from then on we're working with Nick Fury to stop the Fold, and the Tinkerer is right there with us. But eventually he vanishes, and I'm gonna assume he was arrested after he was found, along with like 90% of the antagonists from both games. Like, I don't know what to bring in as a villain without bringing in a new character. So, I'm gonna bring in a new character. I'm gonna most likely bring in someone completely new as the big bad evil guy of this book. If I can avoid that, I will, but I have plans if I need to bring in a new guy. I have a plan. You know, eventually, originally this story was going to take place in the 616 universe. And I mapped out like where everyone was, and I realized for a lot of characters it wasn't easy to figure out where everyone was, and it's always changing. Meaning, I knew it was going to take a long time for me to do this book, and I don't know if I'll ever get done, because I have problems writing by myself. So I don't know if I'll ever get done. I've never finished a book. So it would be a big thing if I did, no matter what story I'm working on. But, so I knew that it would take a long time, and these characters are always moving. You know, the 616 universe is the prime Marvel universe, so all the comic series out there are moving forward, and I'm moving forward slower. I don't know, I always do. I keep going. You know, I don't give up, but that's not enough. I'm not getting better. If anything, I'm getting worse at writing. So, this whole thing has been a wild ride, and not what I expected or hoped for. So, moving it to the universe of these games was a good idea for me, I guess. But then they came out with the third game, or they're trying to. It's gonna come out sometime this month. And I don't like it. Just by looking at the trailer, I don't like it. They changed so many things, and I've already talked about that. So, I dedicated an entire video to that. And, I'm gonna link a video that talks all about Matt Garg and Venom, and it's a great video. I think you should watch it. But yeah, basically, after in the games anyways, in the Ultimate Alliance games, after Scorpion is relieved of the Scorpion costume, and he's just Mac Gargan again, Norman Osborn gives him the symbiote. He's like, now you can become my Spider-Man. And he becomes I think it's called Sinister Spider-Man, which is basically just Mac Gargan Venom working for the Thunderbolts. And then shenanigans. The whole thing is just shenanigans with killing and disabling and ripping off limbs and not killing, which is a big mistake that gets revealed to be a very big mistake when the Redeemer comes into play and screws it all up, basically. The first encounter that this Venom had with the Redeemer, it didn't go well at all for the Redeemer. And the second encounter had more of an effect on Venom. More of a negative effect. So anyways, I mean, it wasn't just the Redeemer, it was also his two remaining friends and two gangs and J. Jonah Jameson and others all wanting to fight Venom. It was great. It was great looking back at that. I didn't read the actual comic, I watched some videos because I needed to familiarize myself with this Venom, because I'm not very familiar. I thought he only got the symbiote for a little while. Turns out it was, like, way too long for some people's liking. So it was obviously for, like, who knows, a long time, but anyways. I was surprised to see that Venom could be so laughable. I don't know. But, yeah, this means big implications for Mac Gargan and S.H.I.E.L.D. and the relationship between the two. And why did the music suddenly go dead? Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this random mess of a video. And if you want to know actually what Venom Mac Gargan was like, I will link a much more descriptive video that actually focuses on his presence in the comics and not this one random game from like 10 years ago. Alright, so with all that, I don't know, I feel like I just made things more complicated, and that's all I've done. But, that's pretty much it for this video. And I need to get some rest. It's very late at night. Basically all I've done is try to learn about Mac Gargan Venom, and figure out what I'm gonna write about now. And I'm happy about the results of learning this stuff. I'm happy about realizing, this is what he's like. Violence and women. That's all that's on his mind. And eating people. Sometimes eating the whole person. But, half the time just leaving them alive and taking one limb or something. So I'll see you next time, and hopefully I have a better idea for a video by then, but peace.